Seen a presentation in the last 10 plus years. Chances are I was the guy sweating his butt off on stage for this gentleman back here. We talked on strong roots earlier, and he's the one that planted the seed for me. Strength and conditioning, I didn't know a thing about it, and I got to Byrnes High School, and he threw me in the deep water. I started swimming, and I was hooked ever since. He started as a mentor, progressed into a friend. I mean, he's as good as family. I love this man. I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me in the industry, all the lives he's touched, because I know there's been plenty. And thank you for planting those roots and setting me in the right direction, Coach. I'm going to let Bert touch on this a little further.
Well, 14 years ago when we started SummerStrong, like I said, it was a birthday party, and 38 people showed up from 5 different states, like I said. And out of those 38 people that showed up, one of them was a very, very well-renowned coach here in South Carolina named Coach Mike Srock. If you've been around the state, especially high school football, you know his name, you know Byrnes High School, you know what he produces, and he's one of those high school coaches that college programs bring him in to give him insight and wisdom. So early on, we were super pumped to have Coach, and he helped some athletes that day, and the next year we wanted him to speak, and we're like, man, if we could get Coach Schrock to speak, this would be awesome. So I cut a deal with him. I said, I'd like you to speak, and we got back and forth. I think the next year he spoke, I said, how about this? I said, for as many years as you're alive and as many years as we're doing SummerStrong, you have a spot at SummerStrong as long as you want to speak. And so 14 years later, he has yet to miss one. He's given to us every time. We both held up our end of the bargain. There's only been 5 people that have ever been to every SummerStrong. That's me, my dad, Coach Schrock, Ben Oldham, who's around here, who's also a speaker, who's been a Hall of Famer, and Jason Lawson, my lifelong training partner. So those are some people that have to be recognized for being early adopters and reliant adopters. So give them a hand, first of all. Again, you've seen Coach Schrock speak on some different things, movement-based things, and a lot of action. But again, we're talking strong roots here, and we wanted to find out from him a little bit. He is retiring this year. What did you learn in all those years of being around kids and under the bar and coaching? All this, just boil it down for us. And in the meantime, we reached out to some of his people, and they sent a little bit to us.
It's a great, humbling honor for me to be here as a high school strength coach. But high school is my passion. You know, I relish going to Byrnes every day. I think the most frequently asked question of me, Coach, when are you going to retire?
Coach Schrock had a massive impact on my life and many others, and I'm sure they're sharing their story today as well. But when I think of Coach Schrock, I think of 2 things. Number 1 is his passion for what he does, and number 2 is coffee.
The most consistent man that I've ever been around in my life, and was a constant for me. Someone that I looked up to and wanted to be just like, but at that time I didn't know why. I didn't know why I wanted to be like him. As I've gotten older and become a man and a lot more mature, I'm so thankful for the things that you instilled in us, Coach Schrock.
I was introduced to a fiery coach, white walls, flat top, and I did not know what to think. He put me through the ringer, whether it be for not going Friday night fast or demonstrating at one of the many clinics.
He had a tremendous impact on the Byrnes community, on my family, on my boys, on so many people. The Byrnes community saw a guy that's a hard worker. He contributed so many state championships. His work ethic is unmatched. And the bottom line, he's a servant for others.
I got to know Coach Schrock while traveling together to strength coaches clinics. On our rides, I always picked his brain and gained some valuable coaching advice. However, I found out that this wisdom came with a price. I quickly found out that Mike's a loud snorer. It's a small price you pay to travel with Coach Schrock. I can't think of any other flaws other than some loud sleeping.
I hope you can see where I'm at. I'm on the front porch of our house. You know, we used to have our coaches gatherings out here and have our toast before we started the season, dedicating ourselves to our players, to each other, and the work and dedication we put in to win that title, and that we did that most of the time. But tonight I want to make a toast to you. I want to toast to a great coach, to a great man, and to a great friend that I knew always had my back. To the GOAT, I love you, Schrock. Have a great retirement.
And I just wanted to say thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach Schrock. I love you, man.
Thank you, Coach. I love you, man.
Love you.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you. Thanks, Doug. Ooh, wow. How am I going to follow that up? I don't know, but again, thank you. Now I get to tell a story about Clay, because I saw the show of hands. We have a lot of first-timers here, so if you've heard this before, still laugh. It's still funny. But like Clay said, when he came to me, as we developed a relationship, and he was getting near the end of his high school career, he had some choices to make. He was came to me and said, "Coach, I think I'm gonna go to medical school. I think I'm gonna become a doctor." And I went, "Clay, are you out of your mind? Why would you do that? You would go to school, you'd graduate with honors. I know him, he's a brilliant student. You'd make a ton of money, drive a new car, marry a beautiful girl, play golf 3 days a week, work about 5 hours a week, and just have all kinds of money. When, if you follow my lead, we can make you a strength coach. You can make no money. You can work 100 hours a week. There'll be no gratitude, and you'll never leave the weight room. You won't meet anybody." So, fortunately, he won out, or I actually won out part of it, because he went on to school at GA, and then as part of the Sorinex team here. But the happy ending is, in 2 weeks, he's going to marry a doctor. So I guess we got the best of both worlds. So. And SummerStrong, I mean, you can't describe it. As a first-time person, I mean, I envy you. It is just, it's almost overwhelming. It's information overload, okay? Our kids at Byrnes hate it when I come to SummerStrong, because I will hit the ground running Monday. I'm still good. I'm officially retired July 1st, but they're going to pay the price on Monday. I'll be all fired up. You know, how could you not get enthused at SummerStrong? And the best is yet to come. There's a speaker. Wait till you hear Kyle, and then all day tomorrow. So I envy you guys. But Bert alluded to it in his opening remarks. The thing about SummerStrong is not the content's important, but it's the people that you're going to meet. The people you meet that can make a difference in your life and in your program. So I have 7 that over the years have helped me out. You may know them, but everybody here has homework or an assignment. Your job to get your program better, because we're all looking for that edge. We all want to be great. We all want to have winning programs. So your assignment is to try and meet these people sometime during the weekend. I'm going to point out 1 or 2 that I can see now, but they're here, and they're great resources for you. They're very open, and they'll help you get better. First one is right in the front row is Gordon Brown, the inventor of the Tsunami Bar. Most of us are familiar with that. And I'm going to show you some of the new things of that tsunami technology that we incorporate at school. Andre Bernardi, I did not see Andre yet. He is the assistant AD for strength and in the back, assistant AD for strength and conditioning at Furman University. If you want to go see how the temperature in a workout should be in a weight room, you've got to go visit Coach Bernardi. I mean, he just takes it to another level. And with that, we also get Coach Kate, his wife, who is assistant strength coach at Furman. So in the Olympic list, very knowledgeable. So that is a great connection for all of us. I don't think she's here tonight, but Dr. Joni Boyd is assistant professor of exercise science at Winthrop University. Dr. Boyd's also our state director for the NSCA, and she's doing something really unique at Winthrop. She is combining different national certifications with grad credit at Winthrop. So as you see that contact information, that's a great way to keep get your CEUs, get your grad credit if you're building for that master's plus 30 or whatever, and get national certifications. I think this summer is NSCA CS prep for the CSCS exam, and then I think in the fall she's going to do the NASE certification, National Association for Speed and Explosion. We'll talk about that in a minute. Another local college coach is Donnell Boucher at the Citadel. I don't think Donnell was able to join us, but again, that's worth your time to give him a call and look into his program. Be here tomorrow will be Jeff Hauser, assistant strength coach at Duke. I think technically is the best speed guy I've ever worked with. He knows, he competed at a high level. I'm aging myself, but back in the day, Coach Hauser was a national caliber hurdler, and he's performed at the highest level. He's competed at the highest level, and he coaches at the highest level. So anything interested in speed, I think that would be the best contact that you could reach out to. And then two guys that are here, you've got to go out to the vendor tent and meet Trip Smith at Hammersmith Sports. I'll show you some of the stuff that we use for Trip. Knowledgeable staff, knowledgeable guy. He'll be happy to share with you. And the last one I just saw is Nick Tominello. He's there he is, there's Nick, Performance University International. I think he's relocating to Florida soon, right, Nick? That's a great resource. He also is the author of one of the books I'm going to recommend. So that's your assignment. Look up some of those people. I promise you it'll be worth your time, and you'll gain something from all of them. Yeah, we're at the must-reads. I kind of flip my program around because every time I'm here I run out of time, so I don't get to, I do read, but greatness, we all talk about greatness. This is a relatively new book by Dr. David Cook. It is well worth your time to read this book. It is a pretty short read. I see some smiles, so I think some of you guys have already found that book, but that's a great resource. I talked about the National Association for Speed and Explosion. Dr. Dinnerman has just done the textbook for that over Essentials of Next Generation Sports Speed Training. For those of you that don't know George Dinnerman, he was one of the first speed coaches in the NFL back in the old Dallas Cowboy days, and knowledgeable. It's a great cert to have, another arrow to put in your quiver to be a certified speed specialist. Weight room wisdom from one of the Bosco Brotherhood. Ron McCaffrey has spoke here a couple times, and he put together some quotes and some stories and some words of wisdom from a whole bunch of strength coaches. That is a great read. All you have to do is read one a day. It's inspiring, it's emotional, it's just a great book to have. So, explosive lifting for Olympic sports is Harvey Newton was a former Olympic coach back in the 80s, and he has really taken the different parts of the Olympic lifts and adapted it to any sport. So I think that's well worth it. And then, as we mentioned, Nick, his book, Building Muscle and Performance, that's the key. So that's a read that I think you get a lot out of. Now, for fun, I like to read Dan Brown. Man, I love murder mysteries. This guy is absolute best. It's historical. The good guy always wins, and the good guy always gets the beautiful girl. So, I mean, you can't beat Dan Brown. So there I go. Again, moving forward, I think especially for us in high school, and really for everybody, is you've got to keep learning. And that's the one thing. 52 years in this business, and I look forward, I try and learn something every day. You know, SummerStrong is going to be overwhelming, but all you have to do is take one nugget from each presentation, one thing from each presentation, and kind of try and incorporate that into your program. Man, it is well worth the time. For the certifications, it protects you legally, it builds your resume. So there's several that I recommend. We won't spend a lot of time on it. Most of you college guys are SCC anyway, and NSCA, the CSCS, I think that's a must-have. High school strength coaches, full-time high school strength coaches like I am, are booming in the high school business. But the one thing they're looking for is certification and experience. So build your resume with some of these certs. I think USA Weightlifting is a must-have. If we're going to be moving explosively, you better know how to teach it safely. The NASE certification I talked about, the speed. We finally got a National High School Strength Coaches Association form that's been about 4 years now, and we're still trying to get the kinks out of putting some type of national certification for high school, specifically for high school coaches. So any of the high school guys here, I would certainly encourage you to get involved with that organization. And last but not least is the Tsunami Bar. I think most of you are familiar. I'm going to show you some of the things that we do at Byrnes, not so much with the Tsunami Bar, but the technology. But they have a couple certifications. It would be well worth your while to look at the Tsunami as another valuable resource. Okay? Good. Going on, this SummerStrong with the theme being the roots, you know, that really probably got most of us thinking, because I know in our situation at Byrnes, we had no kids. We were not in school from March when we had no contact with kids. So of course we're sending stuff out. And, you know, how many did it? We don't know. We had no contact with them, couldn't call them unless they emailed us, which we flooded all the media outlets with workouts. But we had no contact with any of our athletes. March, April, May. Finally, in June 15th, they said, okay, we can bring them back. So we're all excited making these plans, but you can bring 9 in a location. So we're fortunate at Byrnes, we have a weight room with 24 platforms. I could have 9 people at a time, 9. They couldn't spot, you couldn't share equipment, you had to be 12 feet apart. Then you had to wipe everything ridiculously off in between sessions. So we had 3 areas that we could do strength at. So there's 27, we had a mirror group of them outside doing whatever. I put that mostly on the position coaches. So we were flipping 54 kids every hour and a half, like from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, and that was just crazy. So what we had to do was go back to our basics. And a lot of the stuff, it actually merged into this talk because I was going to talk about the mistakes I made and the corrections that we came up with. So really, this is a good theme. So I'm going to pull up I think the 4 biggest mistakes that I made in my career is not enough technique work, too much weight. I was too enamored with plyometrics. I mean, it almost became a religion in itself with us. And then not enough speed. Okay, so those were the 4 big ones. So when we were reevaluating what we were going to do in June, I said, we're just going right back to the basics because we have no idea what these boys and girls have done. Let's just go right back to school, start over like they were the first time they ever walked in the room. So we're going to go through some of those now. So the corrections for technique and weight are almost the same. So the progressions I'm going to show you, we'll have Clay demonstrate some of them. We're going to do a squat progression. Okay, we start out, at our place, we start out with step-ups. And I'll show you a couple of variations of step-ups we do. Then we go to lunges, then what we call a squat school. Now we're actually squatting, and we'll have Clay demonstrate that. My background is Olympic lifting, so I am a big overhead guy. I love overhead squats. I think it's one of the underused exercises in most programs. So in the squat school, we're going to show an overhead squat, a snatch balance, and then a snatch balance with a Zatz press. And that can just be with band. That was banded work. So once that technique improved, then we went to front squat, back squat, finally got to the back squat, which included box squat, and then when there was a level of strength, we introduced the tsunami. So we did that over the course of a summer. And it was a crazy summer because, like a lot of you, we were in phase one, nine people in a location. There was no plan to ever go to phase two. So strength coaches, we're planners. I need to know what to plan for. I'm going to set up a cycle, start from the state championship week and back myself backward all the way through the off-season. Well, we had no off-season. We had no spring practice. We had no spring lifting. And now we're going into the summer not having even seen any of these kids. So we went back to school. And can we pull up the step-ups? Are they? Is that slide up? You got the lunge? All right, we'll go to lunge first. That's easy. Come on out, Clay. We'll get you, put you to work a little bit. Not too much. If you've seen these before, this is an easy presentation for Clay. Normally I'm a little rougher on him, but again, we talked about Hammersmith sports. We use a lot of little I call them toys, but this is one of the most valuable things that we found. And these ankle shackles are invaluable. I love resistance, but not if it affects technique. So this adds just enough resistance to some basic movements without affecting the technique of the athlete, okay? And I think Tripp, the Hammersmith group, they're the best ones. I think I've broken these by the hundreds from everybody that manufactured them, except Tripp. So take a look at these and see if you'd like some of these exercises. So lunge series, we start out, we won't need the box. Let's go, Clay! You're next, Rudy. Get warmed up. Rudy's always warmed up. He could come in here and do this demo right now, couldn't you? So we start out with a basic lunge, forward lunge. And again, we use the lunge too as a speed technique device. So look at his body position. His head's neutral. That's a speed skill. Upright torso. He's coordinating his arms and legs. Okay, pretty simple. Next progression in our lunge series is a reverse lunge. Okay, simply back. Good. This is also a good remedial squat work. Go ahead, stop on this one. Because if you look at the reverse lunge, is not that a pretty deep squat? I think we'd all, as coaches, we'd all be happy if we could get our athletes to squat down like this with this kind of posture. Again, upright torso, head still. Okay, go ahead. And then we'll go to a double lunge. That's a backward, forward. Again, now we're incorporating some balance, some coordination. And again, running technique. He's coordinating his arms and his legs together. So now we start to load this, and there are all kinds of ways to load this. You can, in the beginning, you can put like a suitcase carry, put their arms at their side. You can put something across their chest. You can put something in front for a clean rack or on their back. My favorite is something overhead. Like I said, I think overhead lifting is the bomb. So we would do it. Go ahead. We don't have. I get a light plate. Up. Those 100-pound plates still? Oh no. No, Bill used all those up. So now we just add. So now he's working on strength, coordination, balance, and stability all at one movement. Okay. So that when athletes can demonstrate that, then we'll make it a little hard. Let's go lunge to step up. So again, overhead, this is advanced version, just step up. Boom. Great running technique. Knee is up, toe is up, his posture's up, not moving his head, and the resistance on his ankles, resistance above his head. So you get your kids doing that. That's pretty athletic movement. Later on, we would do it with the tsunami bar. So now there's some undulation that you have to control with the stability in your shoulders and upper back. But so, well done, not too bad. All right? Yeah, not bad, not bad. Not bad. All right. So let's go to step-ups and let's go. So we'll skip the, basic step-up. Everybody does those. Again, I think it's a great building. It's a great progression so that the athlete's just simply going to, again, we use it as speed work where he's just going to step up with good running form. Again, force down, knee up, toe up. He can alternate legs or do legs on the same side. Okay. Then we can go ahead and start to load him a little bit. Again, there's different ways to load, but let's show him. Let's go speed step first. Okay. Now, we call this a speed step because this really incorporates running technique. Then I told you, with some of the tsunami technique, we use these, they're called speed sticks. And I really like these things because it's a self-coaching device that the athlete can use because there's all kinds of BBs in here. So if his Clay's arm action is correct, he's going to hear the BBs and he's going to feel the end of the stick moving in the direction he's going. If he does anything incorrectly with his arms, if he's crossing his body, if he's running like a choo-choo train, if he's running down by his side, there's not going to be any feedback. So this is a great teaching device. It's the Tsunami technology because it's light and it's flexible. I was dead set against these in the beginning because most times when you put something in an athlete's hand, first thing they're going to do, if they're going to move, they're going to squeeze it, which is going to make them bring their arms up here and there's going to be no range of motion. Okay? I think one of the keys to speed development is your arm action. Once you can get your kids to do some correct arm action, man, it directly affects their turnover, it directly affects their stride length. So this is a great teaching device here. So he just holds it right in the web. I don't want him to squeeze it too tight, but just enough to hang on to it. Okay, good. Good. Now this one is called the hammer step. You saw what Clay did, and this will be on the video. All he does is tap next to his foot, hammers himself up. So that's exactly what happens when you run. If you slow frame or run, one leg is bent, one leg is straight. One leg is swinging through, one leg is the power leg. So great running technique. Okay? Let's go ahead and show him the speed step where you don't take your foot off. Again, back to the speed step. Good, just simply. Good. Again, he's getting a feedback from the sticks because his arm action is correct. And we can make it more, as the kids get older and more powerful, then we can make that actually a jump. He's going to come off the ground on his push down. So it's a speed step. There we go, push down hard. So that's force into the ground. Running is pretty simple. The more force you can put into the ground, the faster you're going to go. Jumping's the same force. The more force you put into the court, the higher you're going to jump. So again, it's something that we talked about, not enough speed, but we can take this kind of stuff and incorporate it into the weight room. At our place, we use the lunges and the step-ups, some of those series as a contrast. Like if it's a squat day, they're going to certainly do their strength. They're going to do their strength work. Make no mistake about it. I show you a lot of speed stuff. But there's nothing more important than speed, especially the first drive phase, the first few steps of a drive phase, than the back squat and deadlift. So you can develop force with those two lifts. Now we're going to take that and put some additional movement to it. But strength is going to be one of the absolute keys to speed, is strength development. So you need a break? I'm good. I don't know what happened to him. Now he's going to get married. He used to be able to go cruise through this with nothing. And now he started working for Bert and he's falling apart on me. So I don't know. But no, I appreciate play. So any questions on any of that? Then we would move to a front squat. I love the front squat, box squat, back squat, and tsunami. So there's a real good progression. And you can, like I said, you can use the lunge and the step up as contrast training, a standalone exercise. We're going to squat heavy 1 day a week, but we're a 3-day-a-week program, total body. But that second day, we're going to do some kind of movement, single leg, a step up, a lunge, a low, some kind of weight, or anything. But real good, that's good speed technique. Okay, so let's go. What do we got now? Oh, my favorite, the clean. Okay, you just grab a bar. Yeah, you can use a bar or band.
Get Thorne to bring in some essential amino acids.
Now, here's the deal. When he goes over, I have the compressions. You're on the breaths. Is that okay? You can do the breaths, and you'll call 911. Right? No. So that's good. He's fine. So again, cleans. Again, we had to go back to school because most of our kids had no access to this kind of equipment. So the technique that I like is typical USA weightlifting. We're going to teach from the top down. So the first thing we teach is an RDL. Okay. So a lot of misconceptions about the RDL. People think, well, that has to be a reach, and it is really not a reach. It's a hinge of your hips. You have to push your hips backward to get the desired result. If I'm reaching, I guarantee you my shoulders are going to roll forward. I'm going to lose the natural arch in my back, and I'm going to hurt myself. So we struggle with that. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir with you guys, but it's a great development exercise, but you really got to be careful. So again, common mistakes we see is they think they have to reach to the floor, and that's not the case at all. Everybody's flexibility and strength level is different. So once that athlete feels that hamstring contract, that's far enough. He can hold that slightly and then come back up. Again, keeping the bar right over the center of his gravity. Because if he let that bar go, gravity would pull it away anyway. That's what would happen. He would probably tweak his back. So we start with an RDL. They get good at that. And we teach them what we call the power position, which basically is the same stance as an RDL. So power position can be from the top of the knee, at the knee, or even below the knee. So we'll progress on the power positions. Then we add, from the power position on cue, he's just going to go into a power shrug. Okay? Straight up. Okay, right back to power position on cue, straight up. And what the athlete's going to find, keeping his arms straight, if he's putting force into the ground, the bar is going to move away from him anyway. Gravity's going to pull the bar away from him anyway. So that's what we're looking for. Then from there, we'll go power position to a power pull. Now we're looking for the extension. We want the heels up, his ankles, knees, and hips all going upward with the bar as close as can be. Okay? Now, if you can get, I think a big value in the Olympic lifts, especially the pulls, is the extension. Now I think too many times we get too enamored with the catch. I think the catch is more for the coaches than the value, but I think the value for the athletes, the triple extension. Okay? So again, bar close to them. Let's go power position below the knee. Go. Up. Good high pull. And we'll combine this stuff up. This will be a complex. We're going to go from the power position, we'll go 2 power shrugs, two power pulls. 2 power pulls, good. And then the next one, back to power position. I'll carry that. Let's go 2 kinds of cleans we do. In USA, in weightlifting terms, in Olympic lifting terms, do we have aluminum bar here? Anybody have like a broomstick? Is there a broomstick here? In Olympic coaching, it's a power clean. All that means is your hips don't go below your knee. A squat clean is what we like. It's where you sink into a deep squat. Now, again, value for the athletes. We waste a lot of time in trying to get the technique honed of the catch, and that really, to me, it's the extension. So let's go ahead with a power clean. Good. That's all we're looking for. But now we do want to see his knees bent. We want to see the knees bent. We want the bar close, and so he's not reverse curling it. Okay, and then a full squat. Are you up for a full squat? Can you do that? Oh boy. Woo, not bad, not bad. So then you can put that bar down. We'll give you a minute. And then we'll show the whole complex, yeah. And then we'll do the whole power comp, the whole pull. We call it pull school. We call it pull. Yeah. So where he's gonna, that's called a pull school. And we will do that as a warm-up on a clean day. It takes no time. Once the kids understand the drill, it's a great warm-up. So let's go ahead and do the whole comp. Let's go 2, 2, and 2 good cleans, 2 squat cleans. So pretty good at pull, okay? See the nice shrug? Good. Good, and one more. And good, and you could throw front squats in on me, make it a really, really hard complex, but that's a great warm-up. It's a great exercise by itself. So that's kind of like the way we go through our pull school. And again, that can be standalone work, that can be remedial work, that can be an exercise. So that's where we started, that's where we were in June. We had to make sure that we would go right back to our roots, right back to the basic teaching and the progression. One thing we didn't show them is that was pull school. Now we'll show you what we call squat school. So this is 3 lifts. Overhead squat is 1. Okay, that's good. And then we do a snatch bounce. That would be the second one. And then the third one is a snatch bounce with a Zotz press. In front. We like to press in front. There you go. Press in front. Good. So that we call that squat school. That's a great warm-up. If you did it with, you can do it with a band, you can do it with a bar, you can do it with one of Nick's loops. So that's what we call squat school. So we reinforce the squat. You can do it also overhead with a center mass belt. I don't think we have any here, but I mean you can be real creative with squat school. I really encourage you to use it as a warm-up. So squat school, pull school. We are going to talk about the bench, but you got the world's greatest bencher coming up tomorrow, Bill Gillespie. So I don't want to embarrass myself talking about the bench press when the master's in the house. So we'll skip that. We'll go right to plyos. Oh, good. Some of my thoughts on plyos. You have to have a base of strength first. I started the younger kids on plyometrics too early. Now, backtracking a little bit, our dynamic warm-up is plyometric in nature anyway. We're doing a whole bunch of skips and some things in that. So with the young kids, they're going to do that dynamic warm-up, teach them some skills. But really, in our program, I really don't start doing the serious plyos till they're in about the 9th grade. They're in about the 9th grade. They've been in the program as a 7th grader, as an 8th grader. They've got a certain level of strength already built up, and I feel real comfortable with that. So again, we love the bounding. I think it's great for force development, and we incorporated that. We do bounding every day. So we talked about the warm-up. The warm-up morphs right into some of the bounding exercises we do. We don't have a lot of the room up here, but let's I don't know what we can do. Yeah, it could go sideways. And again, all the links are going to be out with Sorinex sends you guys. So one of my favorite bounds is a linear bound called a scissor bound. You can just do that in place, right? Just a quick scissor bound. There we go. Again, with the ankle shackles on, a little bit more resistance, fires up the hip flexors. Great running. He's pulling the ground underneath him with the ball of his foot. From the speed bound, we go to a high bound. I don't think you've got room. The high bound? Going up a little bit higher. No, it's a straight leg. Straight leg, there we go. There we go. That, you talk about firing up your hamstring, especially with that kind of stuff on, going forward, going backward. So it gets the high bound. So those are pretty easy bounds. The younger kids can pick up on those right away. Don't have to do, just a couple of, up and back, 10 yards, 20 yards total. Then we start to get into the real bounds. So let's go, would you show them power? We call them power skips, power bounds. We go either for height, or we go for distance, or we go for speed. So all that's on the handout. It's going to be pretty, I don't know if you can, Good. There's a high, that's a power skip, and we can go giant covered, that's height. Now he's gonna try and cover some distance with each bound. Again, it's a set distance, 10 yards, and then we'll go as fast as we can, covering distance. I wish we had more room, yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely not gonna be. So again, once they master the two-legged stuff, and again, bounding can be long jumps, okay? Can be stick each landing, or like a frog hop, just do as fast as you can. But we incorporate some type of force development bound right after our dynamic warm-up. So some of the other ones we do, I like the single leg stuff. Want to try a couple? See if let's just go straight single leg bound. There we go. So we give them a big, one-legged bound, then we combine them up. We do a pattern called the 3-1-3. So he's going to do 3 bounds on his left leg, would take a step, 3 bounds on his right leg. But again, we're looking for him to cover distance. So just as a rule of thumb, over the years, we have found out that if a trained athlete, I'm saying my sophomores, juniors, and seniors, putting some effort into that, should be able to cover 42 feet in a 3-1-3. So it's a step, 3 bounds, another step, and 3 more bounds on the opposite leg. Should be somewhere between 42 to 45 feet. If they're hitting that, he's putting force into the ground. He's getting everything out of that exercise that he wants. The last thing we do with bounds is I like to end with a burst. So Clay would do a 3-1-3, say. As soon as he landed on his right leg, he would automatically just take a 3-step burst. Okay? Plant that foot down in 3 steps. Again, reinforcing more speed technique. Okay? Everybody good? Any questions? Anybody needs anything? All right, let's flip over to speed. Yeah, not enough speed. Not enough speed. Everybody works speed in the off season and somewhat in the preseason. Soon as the season starts, what I see is the speed all of a sudden morphs into conditioning because there's not enough recovery time if it's true speed work. So we incorporate in the warm-up or the speed prep, we're doing the dynamic, we do the bounding, and then we're going to add some elements of speed. I probably spend at least 60% of the time on the start. Because every sport, you're in a position that you're going to start. So if we're doing basketball, we might have them in a defensive stance. If it's football, could be in a position start. But we're going to concentrate on that drive phase, which is 10 yards. So I like to, but just so I don't have to give them a lot of recovery time, we work a lot on 3-step burst. We call it a 3-step burst. So some of the drills we do, I like off-balance stuff. So I'll show you a series of off-balance starts that we do with our players. It doesn't matter the sport. The technique is the same. The athlete over time learns to get on the first movement, learns to get their body in the position that they need to be able to move fast. Okay? So let's go with a kneeling start, straight kneel. And again, now, he's still got the shackles on. One thing about the shackles, they're good up to about 10 yards, and then they start to inhibit the stride length. So if he could use these for these starting drills, it would be no problem. If he goes over 10 yards, now they've done what? They've altered his technique. So we would not use them for everything. So this is simply, we call this a split start. Again, we're looking for good running posture to start. Got a little air under that front heel. Which foot is he going to push off? All right, his left knee's down, his right leg's up. Which foot? Both feet. Got to push with both feet to get out of that position. So he's got his toe curled, a little bit of air under. The weight's on the ball of his foot. On the whistle, all he's going to do is split his feet. All right, tweet. Boom. Next whistle, he'd be out of there. 3-step burst. Again, that's great. Teaches them body position, because what you'll see in the beginning is the kids are going to put one foot behind the other, and they won't be able to hold that kneeling position. So again, teaches the athlete the key of the running posture is always the same. We tell our athletes, you're going to run like you're on a railroad track. You're not on a tightrope. Feet have got to be at least hip width apart as athletic stand. If my feet are hip width apart, I can do anything. I can go forward, sideways, backward, jump, do anything. If my feet are together, I can't do anything. Okay, the only thing I can do is they'd be standing next to me on Friday night with their feet together. That's so. All right, so now let's go two splits. Ready? Tweet. 1, 2. And then boom, then he would burst out of there. So again, all that stuff is going to be in the handout. So we like the off balance stuff. We do one called the split jump. Go ahead. Remember this when you're going. Now this one, instead of a long split, we want him to power up in the air. So he's got to get high enough to split his feet in midair. Okay, ready, Clay? Tweet. And then boom, he'd be out of there. Okay, so again, we will do warm up, which we call speed, but we don't use the word warm up, we call it speed preparation, because we want that in the mind that everything they do is for a purpose. We're not just going out there lackadaisical. That's a warm up. You want to warm up on your own, but we're going to speed prep, and we're going to bound a little bit, and then we're going to do some kind of start. Now, we do work on the back end. That would be a whole other presentation, but it's amazing doing simple drills like that over time. It's almost they learn to do it on their own. We don't spend a lot of time correcting because we're sending wave after wave after wave. We're not overtaxing them, so they can burst out of there for 3 steps. Because by the time they get back to it again, they've had way more than recovery time than they need. So that has served us well. All right, I'm buying you time. So, nah, he's doing good. Make sure I got everything covered. Lunge, step-ups. And I think on the slide, let's go. All right, now we'll get fancy. You up for this? Yes, sir. Let's go. Drop, split. Now the kids, actually, the harder we make it, the more they like to do it. So we put them in an athletic position. He was a linebacker at Byrnes, a very, very good one. SoCon javelin champion. So yeah, pretty good, right? Yeah. All right, so we get him in an athletic position. The first whistle, he's going to drop with his left knee down. Tweet, split, tweet, burst. So again, body control, body posture. They learn to push out both feet. They learn to violently use their arms, because in the beginning, you're going to have kids leaning forward. That throws them off. They can't even get out of that lunge position. They've got to be violent with their arms. All right, good one. All right, let's face that way. Now we're going to rotate them. Okay, so on the tweet, he's going to rotate out with your right knee down. Okay, this you got to be careful of. Now this one, we want them off the ground a little bit, because you'll get a lot of kids that'll just keep their foot on the ground and twist their knee. So we want them up and get his hips, shoulders, and head turned around. Ready, tweet, split, up, and burst. It's a lot harder than it looks, so yeah, that's pretty hard. You want to redo? You want a mulligan? All right.
Yeah, I'll take a mulligan.
All right, drop with your left knee down this time. Tweet, split. Again, what do you see? He learned which arm. It's got to be opposite arm, opposite leg. They learn that. You don't have to spend a lot of time, but running, the technique, the body posture, everything is all important. So, well done, well done. If we get the next slide. Kneeling split. Last one, what we do is, with all our sports, we incorporate, we'll use football as an example now since it's football season. So depending on the amount of coaches you have, depending on the number of players, we came up with this series. We call it SAC, Speed, Agility, and Quickness. With football, we have 8 stations. 8 stations. There's a coach at each station. Not all are strength coaches. You have to rely on your position coaches. The idea of this is going to be a short drill. It's going to move as quick as you can. It's going to last the duration of one play. So our goal is to score a touchdown every 8 plays. We want to score a touchdown in 8 plays. 8 plays. So this reinforces that. So they come out. This is the first thing we do before practice. And these are just some of the drills that we do. Some are change of direction, Helter Skelter, the offensive line guys love that. They put them in a bear crawl and they don't know what they're doing. They might do a seat roll, they might do a somersault, they might jump up and run uphill, they might do a cartwheel. But the idea of it is a short, coming out of a start, they start with their coach. As soon as they finish the drill, they come back to a balanced athletic position. 1 rep, boom. Very short time. Give them a little bit of the recovery time is their rotation to the next drill. So that can be done we use it for football. We have 96 players doing, what coach would not like the entire team, 96 players doing something football related, speed related, at the same time, really efficient practice time. We get through all 8 stations in less than 10 minutes, all 8. Now, there is a learning curve. You have to you teach the lesson, or teach the drills that you want to incorporate, or football guys may come up with a drill if they want to see something. So you can mix and match the drills for football. We do it with basketball, we do it with baseball, softball, speed prep, bounding, some kind of start, and then they're going to do a little sack station. Basketball with a limited number of kids, we do 4 stations. Softball, we do 4 stations. Baseball, depends on the number of coaches that you got to help, but that's something you can do to reinforce speed all year round. And it's a definite carryover. The kids believe in it. They like the sack. They complain about it, but it pays off for them when they see the results. So, can flip it. We talked about all the learns. We'll go ahead and flip it again. Words of wisdom. Okay. This near the end, I got this from Jeremy Boone. He was the speed coach of the Panthers for a while ago. Travels all over, great motivational speaker. If you ever get a chance to hear Jeremy Boone, well worth your time. He said, just be the best version of you. You know, I've been in this business a long time, and I cannot be as gregarious as Rudy. You know, I'm never going to have the knowledge of Derek. I'm not. That's not me. You know, I'm not that way, so just be the best version of you. Network, continue your education, get certified, and the last 3 things, we preach about it all the time. Faith, all the credit here, this award, the credit, all goes to our Lord and Savior. I mean, that's what it's all about. So, once you start working toward that, you'll realize, you'll see success. Give credit where it's due. I was just fortunate that he had a plan for me, but he gets all the credit. Second thing is the one regret I have in this business, that as a young coach, man, I thought if I wasn't there, the school was going to fall apart, so it would burn down, they wouldn't do the workouts, they wouldn't do anything. So after about 20 years, I finally went on vacation. Man, I spent weeks. I had this program laid out. All right, check on this. I drove the coaches nuts. I was calling every 10 minutes. How's that going? Huh? When I got back a week later, 3/4 of the kids didn't even know I was gone. So, again, you've got to take time for your family. My one regret is I had 2 girls. Now they're both growing up with their families, so I'm getting another chance with grandkids and great-grandkids. But you've got to take, our job will consume you if you let it. You have got to take time for your faith. You've got to take time for your family. You've got to do that for yourself. So faith, family, and then the profession, and be the best version of you can after the faith and after your family. So I appreciate your attention. Thank you. Thank you.